Hi everyone, today we're going to be making mushroom and chicken carbonara. So I've got my eggs at room temperature and the different ingredients. So I'm just going to get the mushrooms prepped, and I'm going to very thinly slice some onion, and I'll put that in a separate bowl. Nice full of those, and onion. I don't need too much. Oh, that's too slippery. Have to watch out. Okay. So what I'll be doing is I'll be frying up the mushrooms first, because they need to caramelize. I will not be adding the garlic and onions until last almost. I'll just cut this up. And try and cut them up nice and small, as much as you can, so it gives a nice flavor, and make them even as you can. So this is quite a bit already just with the one clove, so I'm going to suffice with that for now. So put that in there. And with the mushrooms, I'm going to simply cut them up in 3. I'm not going to cut them too small, or depending on the size of it. So I'm going to cut these up, and then I will be right back. I'm going to put the heat on very high. I'm going to put some vegetable oil, just about 2 tablespoons full for this amount of mushrooms. And once the pan gets nice and hot, I'll add the oil, then I'll let it get hot again. Once I see a tiny bit of smoking or steaming, I will add a dollop of butter, and then I will add these mushrooms. I will coat them quickly with the butter, mainly butter, not too much oil, and then just leave it. I'll put it down to medium and just leave it for a good 5 minutes. So I'll be right back. You're going to try and make sure that they're nicely sitting at the bottom of the pan so that they get nicely caramelized. Try not to have them floating on each other. And then, like I said, now you're going to turn it down just ever so slightly, making sure that it stays to a medium heat, and do not touch it. It'll be slightly tempting to want to stir it around and touch it, but just leave it alone. Let it sweat. Let all that water, or some of the water, drench off of it before adding salt. So don't add the salt just yet. Wait till it's almost cooked, caramelized, and then you'll add salt a little bit later. So now once it's cooked, caramelized a bit on the one side, you are going to flip them over and let them have a nice browning on the other side so that they're equally yummy. When it's at that point, now, once you've turned it over, now you can add your garlic and onion. You don't want that to cook too fast, so the heat that you have here will be enough. Once it's cooked, I'm going to stick the cooked onion and garlic and mushroom in a, actually I can turn this off already. I am going to now cut my chicken, because we are having chicken and mushroom. So I did season this a tiny bit with some Montreal steak spice. So cut that up thinly. I just got it out of I had it in the freezer. And then I let it unthaw in the fridge for a while, for a long while enough. But it's still firm enough to be able to work with. So that's where you're going to cut it in strips to start with, and then cut it again, and which will turn out to be bite-sized pieces. So once you're done, cutting your chicken into somewhat bite-sized pieces. I like to put them in kind of like little cubes, a little bit smaller than bite-sized, I guess. But if you're somebody who likes larger bites, feel free to cut them a little bit larger, but just make sure that you are cutting them equal size, that all of them are going to be the equal size. So now that the mushrooms have cooked, I've let them cool down a tiny bit. I'm going to just get those out of there and put them to the side. With that same grease that's in the pan, the little bit of oil that I put, you will use that for your chicken. There's no need to put an excessive amount of oil, and the oil that you'll have from this will be nicely flavored with your onion and garlic. So you're going to put that pan back on nice and high for your chicken to go in, and before you put the chicken in, get that pan nice and high. So my pan is, or my pot as it were, is nice and hot. So I'm going to go ahead and get that chicken in there. Make sure that it's broken up so it has enough space. Don't have it all stuck clumped together. And let that cook. On one side, let it have a nice time to brown. And once it's browned on the one side, I'll go ahead and give it a stir. Sorry. And then turn it down to medium-low. Well, no, don't do that just yet. But make sure you get all the spots, the pink spots, turned down so that they can get browned. There, that's good enough. So I'm just going to get that to finish cooking because I don't want it to get more than brown because I'm going to be continuing to cook it. So while that's just simmering, I have it on simmer. Once that's, while that's simmering, I meant to say, I'm going to wash up my board here and I'm going to get ready to cut up a little bit of Swiss cheese. Okay, so now I have seasoned this chicken up. There is a tiny bit of bits that are stuck to the bottom. Don't worry about that. You're going to still keep using the same pan. And as you can see, the chicken bits are nicely cooked. And I am now going to add my mushrooms, onion, and garlic into the mix and let them mingle and get happy together. Just going to let that sit. And this is the time that you want to do your seasoning. So you're going to put a little bit of salt. I'm going to put a little bit of Himalayan pink salt in. Just a touch, because I don't need too much, because I'll have enough salt in the cheese find the cheese salty. So just let that sit and get happy. Oh, and you're going to put a lot of pepper. I unfortunately ran out of pepper, so we don't get pepper. The main pièce de résistance part of a mushroom carbonara, a chicken and mushroom carbonara, carbonara sauce has to have pepper. Oops, don't shoot me down in the comments. I'll get pepper to next shopping. Anyway, but yeah, season right now, let it sit, get happy for a moment while you're getting ready to do your grating of your cheese. So I'm going to be putting Parmesan cheese and, well, Swiss cheese. I had a big block and I put it in the freezer, and a little bit of cream cheese. So here we go. Get that cut up and I'll be right back. Alright, so I am going to get some water going, and I'm going to have some spaghettini with mine. So get that on. Get the water nice and hot and boiling. If you choose to put a little bit of salt in your water, feel free. I am not going to be. Now, while your water is boiling, you can also, if you put a little bit of salt, some people like to put a little bit of oil to help that the noodles don't stick. I did put a tiny bit of oil. So while that is happening, we are going to start making our sauce. What we're going to do with the sauce is you're going to separate 1.5 eggs, and by that I mean you're going to have one with just the yolk, and the other one you'll take the full egg. Oopsie. So just going to take that little squiggly part off. Sorry, I'm a little anal that way. I do not like squigglies. So I'm going to put 1.5, like I said, eggs. So you're going to go ahead and be conserving the egg a bit. You're going to put, like I said, 1.5 eggs. If you want to be fancy, just put the yolk alone. So when you have that done, now what's going to happen is that you're going to have this egg at room temperature. You're going to put some of your, just a second. You're going to put about a cup of cheese to the mix. So I'm going to put half and half of the Parmesan cheese, and like I said, some of this Swiss. I don't know where my cheese grater is right now, but I'm sure this will be fine. I'm gonna just cut it as thin as possible, and I'm just gonna eyeball it, because remember, this is gonna be going on chicken as well as I mean, it's going to be a sauce for both the chicken and mushrooms, and then it has to coat all of the noodles, so don't skimp on the cheese. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this right to the mix, right into the egg. So there you go. Just going to scoop that in. And then with this Parmesan cheese, let me just put this away. It's near the heat, I don't want it to go bad. And This, again, I'm just going to eyeball it. You're going to be reserving, when you make your pasta, you're going to be reserving some of that water, and that's what will thin this out. So I'll just get this water to a rolling boil while I'm waiting. I'll finish mixing this, and I'll add a tiny bit of parsley. So my water is boiling nicely, and I did end up breaking my noodles in half just so that they cook a little faster. Here's the end of the bag. So just evenly portioning it out. Have 2 meals with it. So make sure those get in there and melt down and cook to al dente. You do not want to overcook these noodles. Okay, and I'll be right back. Okay, so while the noodles are cooking, I am going to add, for extra texture and creaminess, some Velveeta cream cheese. So I'm just going to break that up into the mix. Again, when you're going to be ready to add this egg mixture to the rest of the food and incorporate it all, you are going to be tempering it first with the spaghetti water, and that's what's going to make it nice and creamy. This one. Oops. Get all over the place here. So once you add this to the noodles and the chicken mixture, it's going to melt and it'll be so nice. But again, you have to have this cooled down just a tiny bit to make sure that you don't get that egg cooking like it's a scrambled egg. So I'll let those noodles keep cooking. They need to cook for a good 5 to 7 minutes. And again, they will be al dente according to whatever noodle you choose to use. Okay, so we'll turn this meat and mushrooms back up because I did turn them down. And then I decided that I didn't want to waste the white part after all. I'm just going to make sure that I temper this correctly and not make scrambled eggs, but make a custard. Make sure those noodles are not overcooking. And just, I'll use the bowl that I had the onions in, and I will let that cool down a tiny bit so I can temper my egg mixture with that. So my noodles are almost ready. And I will try not to make this video too long. Just, again, try and not waste that water, just in case you need it. And in she goes. So you're going to want to stir it around just a bit to get all those naughty bits off the bottom with your with your boiled water, with your pasta water. You're going to, as I said, temper this egg to where it's a thin milkshake consistency, and add it in. You're going to make sure when you're, once you add it in, to keep moving it. Oh, oops, damn it. The other thing, you want to make sure that this is not hot at all. So I'm going to let it sit on this colder burner for a second here. Let it cool down a second. Make sure it's not steaming at all. Okay. So this is cooled down. I had it so high that the noodles were burning at the bottom. So hopefully this will be okay. And have an even coating. Schmilok. And like I said, get it moving right away. Ooh, I smell the Swiss cheese, y'all. Now, this is a tiny bit thick, and that's where this water comes in handy. That's why you don't want to throw it away. And you want to keep moving that and not let it sit, because otherwise it'll turn into scrambled eggs. And the mixing of it is what will have that cheese melt. And make it nice and creamy. So this is really nice and creamy. I just wanted a tiny bit more creamy. Just a tablespoon more water. Whew. And there you have it. And then here we are. I'm going to let that sit and get happy, and I'll be right back. It's going to be so good. Let me get this plated up, and I will be right back. Click like and subscribe if you're enjoying this video so far. Get ready for our mukbang next. Okay, we've got it nicely plated up. Let me get a couple of sides to go with that, and I will be right back. Everyone, welcome back to my mukbang. Today we're gonna have yummy cucumbers with some olives, and I made chicken and mushroom carbonara from scratch. For dessert, I have some nice candies that I've covered with some fennel seeds, and then we have some nice licorice, soft, chewy licorice, some black squid ink, pretzels, and then some that are not coated. Oh, darn it. Whoa! Don't mess up on me now. And then finally to drink, we're having some vanilla boost. So there. Ooh, this is really nice and hot. And I made it just to perfection. I didn't overcook the egg mixture. So, first bite. Grab a plate. Join me. Bon appetit. I added Swiss as well as Parmesan, so it makes a nice, beautiful flavor change. And because I used cremini mushrooms again, it was delicious, or it is delicious. And for added creaminess, I put some cream cheese. And all those things were salty enough, so I didn't have any salt to add other than a tiny bit on the chicken. Anyway, let me shut up and eat. Tastes good. I did turn the heat off right when it was, the meat was browning. I turned it off, and so it's still nice and juicy. Oh my God, I haven't made a good meal in so long. Since this concussion, I couldn't cook, but I've been really paying attention and being careful. I wish you were here to have a taste. I find putting just a Parmesan, it's not the right texture. You have to have several cheeses to make carbonara, in my opinion. Or heavy cream, which I didn't have any heavy cream. But the noodles were quite hot after I put the mixture, the egg mixture, so it did keep cooking a bit, and so it is thicker now than when I originally made it. It was really nice and creamy. Oops. I don't know what it is, why I get a runny nose when I eat. Does anybody else get that? Is it an allergic reaction, or what is it? Chico? I was originally going to just make mushroom carbonara because I had the creamy mushrooms to use up. And they are a little bit more expensive than the button, so, or regular, whatever those other mushrooms are. So yeah, I wanted to make something nice with them. I had made some stuffed, what was that thing stuff called? Stuffed mushrooms the other day. Anyway, you'll have to look on the videos to see which one it was. But that was pretty good. I had made that with some unami, no, it was mangarang noodles. Mm. The mushrooms were perfectly caramelized. Mm. This is very good if I do say so myself. And the good thing about it, I have leftovers for midnight snack later. I had bought some chicken, excuse me, on special family pack meal. Well, I'm single, there's only me. So I separated them, but before putting them in the freezer, I added a little bit of different spices in the different packages. This one had some Montreal steak spice. So it was nicely spiced already. I didn't need to add any other spices, even though I was missing the pepper. I normally make a drink when I kind of forgot. These mukbangs are a little bit tricky to set up at times. So I didn't want to risk my food getting cold. But I do find these a little too sweet. I don't like to drink them alone. Way, way too sweet. I'm not talking, my food's getting cold. The Swiss made a big difference. It is thick though. It's not for somebody who wants to be on a diet. Unlike myself, I'm not on a diet. I haven't tried to gain weight. I can't. I don't know why. Oh, and by the way, make sure you like, hit subscribe, and hit that notification bell for any upcoming videos. Me sometimes being silly, and other times having mukbangs or doing gardening. You just never know. But also, leave in the comments if you like those short videos when I was doing only like 3 to 5 minutes, or maybe it was 7 to 10, I don't know, but shorter ones, or do you like ones where 30 minutes or more? So let me know. Well guys, I think I'm done with the supper for now. My battery is gonna die. I don't know if the thing's still running right now. I love you. I love you. I love you.